Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, the top 10 reasons why a homeowner should list during the holidays. We're so happy you're here. To get the most out of today's webinar, we want you to take really good notes, and we want you to use that Q&A panel there to ask us any questions you might have. Don't get stressed out if it doesn't get answered right away. We are going to be taking those questions at the end. To reach us at any time after today's webinar, you can reach us on all social media channels at Darryl Speaks. Darryl is the author of 3 books, all published by McGraw-Hill Publishers. That first one you see there, How to Become a Power Agent in Real Estate, is actually one of the best-selling books to real estate agents on Amazon. Darryl was named this year in the Big Hearted and Brave category by Riz Media Magazine as one of the top real estate newsmakers for 2021. He's also the recipient of the coveted CSP designation, which is only given to less than 2% of speakers worldwide by the National Speakers Association. On that note, Darryl, I know you have a lot to share. I'm going to let you take it away.
Thank you, Jules. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. We're glad that you're here. So before we get into the specific topic, and I'm going to give you an overview of what we're going to cover, I do want to talk to some people that this is your first time coming to one of our weekly sessions. So I want to address the question for you. Is this a sales pitch? Anybody that has ever attended our trainings, which we've been doing every week for the past year and a half, will tell you that's not the answer is no. We're going to be loaded with content, but there are 2 types of people on this call. There are people who are power agents. These are people who are in our membership. These weekly sessions are designed for them. And then there's a group of you that are our guests. And the reason why I'm sharing that with you and guests, you're going to get a tremendous amount out of today's webinar. But the reason why I like to start that way is because given that this is part of our weekly training, from time to time, I'll have like a sidebar conversation with our power agents and we'll point something out to them. So just letting you know that. Now, for those of you that are guests, let me just share this with you, address the question, what is a power agent? It's our coaching program. It's a monthly membership. We lowered the price to $47. We lock people in at that price that sign up before we go to the $197. We did that during the pandemic, but just to give you a brief overview, cancel any time. Nobody's ever locked in. If you're a guest, you can actually kick the tires, participate later at the end of the webinar if you want for $5 for a full month. You'll have complete access to everything. So it's not a restricted membership. For $5, you really get to drive the car for a month. And plus you get bonuses. So if you decide at the end of the webinar, what will happen is we'll tell you how to do that. And then we will email you everything that's currently on the screen right now, which is just a plethora of great content. And I'll go over that in more detail at the end. You will also get a copy of the slides and a recording as well. But let's get into this topic. I do want to just create a listening for you so you can appreciate how this works, this particular webinar. All the webinars that I do every week is either going to be a wide webinar, meaning that we're going to touch a bunch of little different things, or we'll go deep on a specific topic. Today's webinar, we're going specific, right? Specifically on when you're sitting across from a homeowner, how do you motivate them to list now? Why this is a great time for them to list. Now, fortunately for you, I am going to give you some wide bonus information as well as far as prospecting direct mail pieces. So that's going to be some bonus content in the latter part of the webinar. I do want to talk to the power agents just for 1 minute. Guess if you don't mind. So power agents, I just want to remind you of something. Every week you get 5 emails from us, and those emails that you get are training emails. So I want you to pay attention to the emails that you're getting, because I'm going to just show you one, because I was looking and designing today's session. I was going through some of the content we were sending out to you. This was Tuesday's email, yesterday's email. And these are screenshots scrolling down this one email. There was an article on how to sell a good house in a bad location with training tips. Then there was how to reignite the fire in your business relationships, another training article, plus a social media post on hope, which, by the way, power agents, the people, the other power agents that saw that and they're using it, they absolutely love this infographic that we created for you. And you can customize it when you click on that link, along with a reminder of the webinar. Now, the coaching calls, we summarize the coaching calls, the Monday calls for you. This is all the value and ideas that came from the Monday coaching call. That happens every week. And last, of course, was the reminder of today's webinar. So I just want to remind the power agents, please check your emails because there's so much great training content in there for you. Now, today's outline, everybody, here's what I'm going to cover. Three main things. First of all, I'm going to break down the 11 reasons why a seller should sell during the holidays. So I'm going to go through each one. Now, I know the webinar says 10, but I added one. So now it's like it's a weird baker's dozen. It's one extra one. The second thing I'm going to go over with you is share 6 great, powerful direct mail marketing pieces that you may want to consider in using in your business in this time of year. It's related to the holidays. And the third thing, I'm going to give you 3 specific holiday strategies while other agents are going into vacation mode. And I want to talk real quick. Let me say this. The holidays is a great opportunity for you to get a bump in your business for several reasons. Number one, you're planting the seeds for a great first quarter of next year. Number two, you have less competition because a lot of agents, they start going into the holiday mode and they mentally check out. Number three is any buyer or seller that's coming into the market during this time of year, they've got to be what? Help me out, serious. Exactly. This is a great time for you to give yourself a bump in your business. So we're going to cover that. Now, here's the power agents. This is the flyer that's in the power program for you that you would actually could use on a listing appointment, or you can use it as a direct mail piece. You'll see at the bottom there, you can put your photo, contact information, and customize it. So I'm going to go through how to deliver each one of these items, okay? Quick tip. Because there's 11, I need to say this. At least 30 minutes of this webinar is going to be taken of me going through these 11. I do not expect you, listen to me, you should not sit in front of a homeowner and do everything that I'm going to teach you, because that means you're spending 30 minutes on this one conversation. I'm teaching you all 11, but when you're in front of a homeowner, you may only, because of who they are, because of their commitment, your relationship, what you like, what you believe, you may only focus on, let's say, numbers 2, 3, and 7. Or you may feel when you're at 2, 3, 5 number, all of a sudden they're like, you know what, this makes sense, and they're ready to go. So I don't want you to think you should sit in front of a homeowner and go through every single one of these, okay? I'm just teaching every single one. All right, so that's what that tip is. Let's do the first one. People who look for a home, Mr. and Ms. Hanna, during the holidays are more serious buyers. One of the most valuable things for you, Mr. and Ms. Hanna, is that when you want a serious buyer, somebody who's really committed to buying a home, during the holidays, it separates the lookers from the buyers. See, just think about it. Anybody that's got to go through obstacles, whatever those obstacles are, they've got to be really committed to that end result. It's like, if you're a parent, you all parents on this call, you know what I'm talking about. Is that there's times that we don't want to do certain things. We have to pick up the kids or make them dinner or the breakfast or whatever it is every month. But we do it because of our commitment to our kids is greater than the circumstances of I don't want to. The best buyers come out during the holidays because of the holiday season and in some cases the weather. If they're coming out in the weather, the cold, the time of year, and they're committed to buying a house. Number two, is serious buyers have fewer houses to choose from during the holidays, and less competition means more money for you. What we know over the course of this past year and a half, perhaps even a little bit longer, we've seen the property values nationally go up. Part of why that is money's been really cheap, but in addition, the inventory has been low. Well, here's what we find, Mr. and Ms. Hanna. Going into these holiday months now, it's going to get even lower. And the value for you, the good thing about the best thing for you as a seller is when there is low supply and there's high demand. There's still high demand for people to buy real estate. Interest rates are still at their lowest place. So the fact that there's less competition, less supply, but there is that desire and demand, that works in your benefit now. Let me share with you just some examples of when there is low supply but high demand. The first Apple's operation manual that went up for auction a few years ago, you would agree there's not many of these first Apple operations manuals, but there's a lot of people that wanted it. So for this very simple, it was only a few pages. It wasn't a huge manual. It was just like, I think it was 6 pages long. That sold at auction for $10,000. You know, to try and find one of those original PlayStations and games, very, very, very limited supply. But the demand is so great that it went for auction at $280,000. A few years ago, there was a huge auction. It took 4 days to complete it on just this one theme, which was on Star Trek, the motion pictures, the series. It was a huge thing in all the papers. And that spaceship that you see that's closest to the foreground there, that ship, that model ship, it was a toy model, actually sold for more than some houses sell for. When there is very little supply but great demand, things go for that was a toy. That was a toy. That was a toy, and it sold for almost $600,000. A 1926 Valero Adima de Gomecanas whiskey. I happen to find this. I was blown away. Say, geez, $1.9 million for one bottle. Whoa. When supply is little, but demand is high, the person selling it benefits greatly, Mr. and Mrs. Hanahana. This is the time for you to sell. Let me share something else with you. During this time of year, you have leverage over your neighbors because just like you tell me, Mr. and Miss Hana, you want to wait till after the holidays. There's some of your neighbors, it could be your next door neighbor. We don't know, but there's neighbors who are thinking the same way that you're telling me now. But the advantage of you putting it on the market before they do is several things. For example, tell me which is better. For you to put your house up now where you have very little or no competition, or when everybody else is thinking the same way and come on the market after the holidays. Here's something else too. Fortune Builders. This is a company that talks nothing about, but focuses only on Fortune Builders about buying, selling real estate. And here's what they said not too long ago. Less is more, especially when it comes to inventory. If there's one undeniable truth about the holidays, is that real estate inventory is limited during the holiday months. There's simply less people selling less homes, which means less real estate activity. So it's in your best interest to put it on the market right now. Listen, gang, now see, this is what I mean. That number 2, maybe that might push a homeowner over the edge right then. You know what? That's good enough for me. But wait, there's more. Number 3, there are homeowners, your competition to wait for the holidays to be over. List your home now gives you some other advantages. Let me explain. When you put a house on the market, Mr. and Miss Hannah, there's a lot of prep work that goes into launching a new listing. If I were to use a monopoly board as the analogy, where you've got to determine the pricing, you've got to prepare the property, you've got to stage it, you've got to verify information, launch the listing. So if nothing else, this will take us a week or 2 weeks. That gives us an advantage ahead of your age, the other homeowners that are thinking about selling, because you're getting that jump. So let me break it down as an example. When you hire me, we've got to make sure that we prepare copy. Because, by the way, power agents and guests, one of the things that you may want to consider is if a homeowner is really adamant about waiting until after the holidays, you can say, well, why don't we do this? Why don't I get to work for you now? Hire me now. They sign an agreement. And by the way, before you get twisted about your MLS says that you sign the agreement, you have to put it up on the market within 24 hours or 48 hours. There's a way that you can have your own agreement, a very simple one, that they hire you to launch it onto MLS. So it's like a pre-listing agreement, but it's very basic, very simple. that they hire you to start doing this work to get ready to launch it on the MLS. So you could do that, because in the launch, you've got to write copy. See, for example, Mr. and Ms. Hanna, writing copy is the most important thing when it comes to the MLS. To me, the MLS is essentially the billboard of your home. See, part of my job as a marketing agent, not just selling agents, take your house and market it to all the other potential buyers. And what I've learned, the best way to market it to other potential buyers is get other agents excited about your property. Because if I get the agents excited about the property, they're going to bring their buyers. Studies show every agent has at least 5 potential buyers for every house. In our surrounding MLS, we have over 30 agents that are really top, successful, committed agents with 5 buyers. It's 150 buyers right out the gate. My job is to market your house to not just the buyers, but to the agents. So when I fill out your billboard, your digital billboard, which is what the MLS is, I take the time to make sure I use the right language and words. Here's something else too, preparing the photo. Preparing photos. We don't just take the photos. Let me give you for instance. Well, this is an example of a house, and obviously they got kids, and those kids love Smurfs. Now that's a cute thing, and it's a clean room, but some people can't see past Smurfs. So part of what I have to do is I take it and I put it through one of our proprietary softwares that we have with another vendor, and we take and we clean it up and create a virtual version of that room. That's the same exact room that you're looking at. That's the exact same room that you're looking at without the Smurf stuff. Here's an example of a kitchen. It's not bad, but it's got a little couple of things there. It's got a pot on the stove over there. It's got some of the papers there. I use my island as a little office too. So in preparing the photos, we digitally clean it up so that way buyers can see clearly through the stuff. So we've got to do that. We've also got to prepare mailing lists. One of the things I do, Mr. and Mrs. Hanna, to get your property sold is some of the best sales come from neighbors who have family or friends that are looking to buy nearby. So one of the things I have to do is I've got to go through the expense, time, and energy, actually purchase a neighborhood mailing list, put it into our computer system, and get ready to promote it and push out your house to those folks. These are all things I got to do to prepare. See, selling a house, Mr. and Ms. Hanna, is not just a matter of putting an ad out in the world, whether it's in print or online. There's a whole, you've got to do it the right way. This is why you have to be licensed by the state to help other people market their properties, because it's a lot harder than it looks on the surface. If it was just easy to put an ad out in the MLS, into the marketplace, you wouldn't have to be licensed. And these are part of the things that I work on constantly. I'll give you, for instance, to prepare your house and put it out on social media. People say, do you do social media? Yeah, I do. So I can do social media. But you know what? A lot of people don't realize it ain't that easy. Here's an example. I'll show you what I mean. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, every single one of them has different things that need to happen in order to have that visual, that photo presented on their platform. Different profile images, different DPIs, the maximum, what the header image has to be. There is so much that goes into preparing your property to get it launched. So next thing, let's go next. It's the computer. That's number 3. How are we doing? By the way, if you guys are learning anything, do me a favor. We record the chats. Tell me if you're learning anything, what you like so far. You can throw it out there. We'd like to see that. Number 4 is, you'll say to a homeowner, perhaps showing houses during the holidays just that makes the house look better. If you're that type of person that likes to decorate your home for the holidays. You don't have to, but if you do, that's a benefit. That's not a drawback. By the way, here's an example. This is just a couple of photos just to get you into the thinking of what a house looks like when a house is decorated during the holidays. And it just makes it feel like a home. It feels like I want to raise a family here. And I'm going to tell you why this is important in just a minute. It's based on science. So number 4, houses just show better during the holidays. Number 5 is during the holidays, buyers are more connected to their emotions and home ownership. Now, listen, power agents and guests, I'm going to get a little deep with you right now. I'm going to get a little scientific with you. I'm going to give you more information than you would actually use on a listing appointment, because I want you to understand what I'm teaching. When you deliver this, if you choose to, you deliver it in your style, your words. But let me school you on something about the emotions and how the holidays ties in and helps the homeowner sell their house for more money. One of the 3 books that I wrote for McGraw-Hill Publishers, one of the top publishers here in the U.S., was that middle book right there, How to Design a Life Worth Smiling About. This book is not a real estate book. This book came about by accident. Just backstory really quick. I started talking about the power of smiling because I learned how important smiling is to human beings, to their well-being, to their success, yada, yada, because I took a course at Berkeley University, and that's where I learned that. So I started talking a lot about smiling and the power of smiling. Our company culture here at Power Headquarters is helping agents design a life and career worth smiling about. So this is what we're about here. Anyway, in this research of this book, I discovered some things about smiling and the chemicals in the brain. One of the chemicals in our brains when we smile, because during the holidays, people smile more. People are nicer. You know that. People are just nicer. People not let them cut in. You know, you give gifts to people, you know, on the line. Just the other day, I was at Broish. I bought some candy bars for the woman behind me. You were just nicer during the holidays. Endorphins is one of the chemicals about smiling. Endorphins help give you focus. A runner knows what I'm talking about when it comes to endorphins. It actually gives you pleasure, better mood. There's a euphoria, a bliss. And it actually helps deal with pain, less pain. Now, again, gang, I'm giving you science behind number 5, and I want you to understand it. So you've got endorphins. The other chemical is oxytocin. Oxytocin is also called the love chemical. When a couple is excited to see each other, when you're in love, even with your animals, that's chemical, that love chemical is actually oxytocin. It's also called the trust chemical. And here's what's important about oxytocin. Study after study shows that when a customer has a high level of oxytocin, they literally spend more money. There was a study done by Nielsen Ratings. I know you know Nielsen Ratings. They great television shows based on audience participation. Well, they did this huge study during the Super Bowl ads. They actually had this huge group of people that they measured these 5 things: their EKG, their EEG, their core biometrics, their facial coding, how they reacted to the ads, their eye tracking. They actually did a self-reporting. This is all of the points that they did in this study. Now, there's a punchline here about the Super Bowl ads in 2017. Here's what they've discovered in this huge multi-million-dollar study, is that the ads that actually made people smile, those customers, those ads got a higher return on that investment as far as people wanting to purchase that product, spend that money, etc. So here's the point that I'm trying to make. When people are looking at a house during the holidays and they're in that high oxytocin, endorphin place of being, they actually are more apt to purchase and spend more money. That is the long of it. Actually, NAR did a very simple study that kind of backs what I just said. NAR found that people's houses sold above asking price higher during the months of October, November, and December, as opposed to, I'll wait till after the holidays. Ming, look at this over here. It's actually below the asking price, which validates the very thing I'm telling you here. Homeowners can actually benefit tremendously by selling now and not wait until after the holidays. Number 6, buyers have more available time. Are you guys learning anything? Let us know. Buyers have more available time during the holidays to look at your house. You all know that as professionals. You know, one of the things that we find is that when people have more time, it's less stressful. They spend more money. I believe that's one of the reasons why Amazon has gotten to where they are. One of the benefits that Amazon has brought to people is it saves them time. It's less stressful. And because of that, people are more apt to spending a few dollars more on something perhaps. Number 7 is some people buy before the end of the year because of a tax advantage. So right now there's a pool of buyers, Mr. and Ms. Hana, that their motivation is to get into a property, get into contract, and close before the holidays because they benefit. Here's an example of the tax deductions that people get when they purchase a home. The mortgage points, they can write it off on their taxes. Real estate taxes, they get to write it off, paying 6 months in advance. Mortgage interest that they pay, and they're going to pay some in advance. And then miscellaneous. So there is a tremendous amount of benefits for somebody who's concerned about their taxes. We want to tap into those people as well. If a buyer is being transferred, number 8, if a buyer is being transferred because of a job, the end of the year is typically the time when they get notified. Now, here's what is important, Mr. and Ms. Hana, you understand about relocating buyers. Buyers who are relocating, their commitment is on time, not on price. Meaning if they're getting relocated, now in this day and age of virtual, it's less of an attracting point here. But there are still companies that are coming back to work and bringing people back into their buildings. And so for those folks that have an opportunity to be relocated, they care more about getting relocated when their boss wants them there. Therefore, they'll do whatever it takes when it comes to buying and making the move, meaning they will pay a premium price if necessary. Number 9 is during the holidays, it's acceptable for you to restrict your showings. And see, to me, this is a big thing for some homeowners, gang. Some homeowners, they don't like the idea of selling their house and having people trace through their home. Well, especially for these homeowners, they're in the driving seat. It is totally acceptable to not make the house available 24/7. Mr. and Mrs. Hana, we can schedule and say showings are just on the weekends or showings are just in the evening from 7 to 8 or something. I mean, that's a ridiculous time frame, but you get my point, gang. It's more acceptable during the holiday season to put restrictions, but not have it hurt the homeowner in the marketing of their property. Number 10 is by selling now, you have an opportunity to be a non-contingent buyer after the holidays when there are more houses on the market. So watch this. If you tell the homeowner, listen, Mr. and Ms. Hana, if you put your house on the market now, everything else I just said was true, right? You have less competition. You can control the showings. You're getting better buyers. Buyers committed to spending more money. Chemically, they're more apt to spending more money. So this is such a perfect time. You put your house on the market where there's less competition. You get somebody who buys your house. You now can, when the holidays are over and you're in that looking phase, there's going to be all those homeowners that I'm going to wait till after the holidays. They come onto market. Now you as the buyer's position, you have more choices, more inventory, and a non-contingent because you've got your house in contract or at least up for sale. By the way, gang, as Julie said, you have questions. If you write it in the chat right now while I'm teaching, it's going to stay there. You may not see it on the screen. We're going to hold it and we're going to then start reading questions. So you can write questions as I'm going through this. Now, the other disadvantage, if you don't do it this way, Mr. and Ms. Hana, if you wait till after the holidays, and now you've got more competition with buyers, and if your house is not a non-contingent, you haven't at least got it on the market and it's not in contract, so you're going to be competing with other buyers that maybe are non-contingent buyers. You got to now pay top dollar to beat them out because you don't look as attractive as a buyer. Once you win that house, now you got to put your house on the market. And what do you got to do is maybe price it a little bit less than what you could have just so you can sell it in time to close on the new home. Here's the last number 11, and then I'm going to go into the next thing that I want to teach you guys. Is number 11, the agents that are working this time of year have the same commitment level as the buyers that are looking during the holidays. Now, Mr. and Ms. Hana, here's what I got to tell you. Every real estate agent in my board, in my market, heck, in the National Association of Realtors are great. They're good. They're all good because for an agent to get licensed, there's a bunch of training and hoops that one needs to get to in order to get that certificate by their state and say, here you are. And some agents, some people, it takes maybe 2 or 3 times. It's not always easy to get that license to represent homeowners. So every one of them is good, but there's better and best. And here's what I've learned being in this business is the best agents seem to be coming out of the woodworks, if you will, during the holiday season. These agents have just a little bit extra oomph to the work that they do because they're working during the holidays. And I'm sure you want to work with the best of the best. You know, it's kind of like this. You think about it. What's the difference between a $200 suit and a $2,000 suit? You know, obviously the more expensive suit is better quality. It lasts longer. There's more value for you the long term that you get. As a matter of fact, so if you decide to hire me, it's like you're getting a $2,000 suit. So anyway, so there's just another analogy. Gang, we just went through those 11 things. And as I said, you don't have to go through every single one. Do the ones that you like when you're in front of a homeowner. Explain the ones that you feel are appropriate to the situation. What's going to talk to their heart. If any of those that you like, let us know. Put it out there. I want to see it on the chat. But here's the next thing. We have a bonus material I want to give you now during this holiday season. I want to share with you some holiday direct mail pieces. And then the second thing, which I'm really excited, is I'm going to give you three strategies for the rest of this year to help build your business. So let's go to first the direct mail pieces. I want to talk to the power agents for a second. Power agents, I just want to remind you and let you know what I'm showing you, where you'll find it, because I'm going to get that question. So I'm going to answer the question now to save some time. Power agents, when you're in the classroom and you go to the tab called Farming, when you click there, you're going to see hundreds, literally hundreds of flyers, postcards, and letters. There's other stuff too, but when we're talking about direct mail, it's going to be a flyer, a postcard, or a letter. So you're going to find everything I'm showing you is in there. But let me just show you my 6 favorite right now. One of them is the top 5 tips to do an open house during the winter months. Now, some of these tips are specific to where there's snow and weather conditions. For some of you where you're not worried about the weather, I will tell you this, you can edit these things. Every single piece in the Power Program is editable, even the bullets and the letters and the sentences, not just your image and your contact, but the actual content. I'll give you, for instance, when I zoom on here where it says market warmth, when advertising homes for sale, I cater to the season. This is a flyer you're sending out to the community saying, for example, what I do in the cold winter months, I feature a photo that has a fireplace filled with a roaring fire surrounded by cozy winter colors. No fireplace, candles, and other warm lighting can convey the same inviting feeling that you will make that buyers want to curl up into the house all winter. Now, gang, that number one, if you're in Florida and you would tweak perhaps that language so you can edit every single word in the flyer. That second bullet, don't forget about the pathways. The easiest way to turn off a buyer is for them to slip on their way into your house. If you got ice, be sure to purchase de-icing material before you do an open house. Anyway, this flyer goes through a whole bunch of ideas. You can use it on listing appointments. You can use it as a mailing piece. But let me go to the next mailing piece idea. Some of you are in these parts of the country that during this holiday season, there's still a concern about the weather and hurricanes or whatever, right? So what we did, we put together 2 checklists in regards to this. So if you happen to be in one of those markets, you may want to send out and give to people this family disaster plan. You can, by the way, all this stuff you can do is door knocking as well. We actually created a plan for pets as well, because we're at Power Headquarters. We're pet friendly here. We love pets and animals, I should say. And so we did this as well. Now, here's something else that I love this piece about Zillow. And so let me share this piece with you. At Power Agents, we actually created a postcard on this as well. So it's a flyer and a postcard. And let me zoom in on this because I want you to see this is powerful stuff, man. Even the CEO of Zillow thinks you should ask a real estate agent what your house is worth. That's the top of it. Then it says, thinking of selling your home? Don't make the mistake of using Zestimates to determine your home's value. Now watch this. In a prominent Market Watch article, Spencer Rascoff, Zillow's former CEO, said, we call it a Zestimate and not a Z appraisal and not a Z price. It's meant to be a starting point. To determine a more accurate opinion of a home's value, you should hire a real estate agent. Bing, mic drop. The CEO of Zillow is saying, don't listen to us. You better hire an agent. Zestimates is merely a successful marketing tool to catch people's attention, but you should not rely on it to determine the value of your home. Let me tell you something, gang. This over here, we got to get this stuff out. I think we all should be doing this as an industry, is telling our market, Zestimates is a marketing tool, baby. It's not a real pricing thing. It's just to catch it's a gimmick, for crying out loud. So we need to get that message out. Here's another one of my favorite direct mailing pieces is prepare your home for fall and winter, interior and exterior. And it goes through a whole bunch of ideas on how to prepare your home during. So it's another great marketing. And of course, gang, the 11 reasons to list during the holidays, I think, is another good marketing piece to send out as well. Now, let's talk. By the way, what we just created for you, I had this thought. We created this, Julie, what did we do? I think it was yesterday.
It was almost last night.
So could we have Power Agents? The 9 reasons to buy during the holidays. I don't know why we didn't think of this sooner. So we came up with these 9 reasons that you can use. Like, many buyers have opted to wait until the spring, making your competition pool smaller. There may be many tax advantages for you. Houses show better when they're decorated for the holidays, so that's a good thing for you. Closings are faster sometimes because many professionals involved are eager to close the books before January. So anyway, it goes through a whole 9 things. That's another mailing piece, and that's something that you should all be using with your buyers to help motivate them to buy now versus later. There's more about interest rates and But anyway, okay, here's the third part of today's webinar, which is, and by the way, yes, after I do the 3 holiday strategies, I have a gift or a bonus for you. So stay to the end. Let me finish this. The 3 holiday strategies I want to give everybody to help you get a bump in your business over these next 60 days. Strategy number 1. Is you got to get organized. You want to know why you want to get organized? Let me tell you why organization is important and why it's a strategy. Here's what I know. When you're disorganized, it sucks your energy out of you. I want you to imagine this. You're driving in a neighborhood where they have speed bumps. The signs behind the speed bump works like this. When a car is going 40 miles an hour and it's going 30 or whatever, let's say 40, and you hit a speed bump, the energy actually gets sucked out of the car. You can actually see it. If you saw one of those special x-rays, you would see the energy from the engine and the wheels. They would actually get absorbed into the speed bump. So what happens is if you're going 40 miles an hour, you hit a speed bump, bada bing, you come out the end of the speed bump, you're now probably got 25 miles an hour. When you are disorganized, those are speed bumps in your life. It's sucking your energy out of you. When you get organized, you get squared away, as my uncle would say, who served in the Navy. You got to get squared away. You're more effective. You're more focused. You're more productive. Let me give you just a bunch of ideas right now really quick. Power Agents, one of the things we gave you guys, it's in the time management tab of the thing, is the Power Activity Tracker to generate listings. Now, I'm not going to go through all this, but the idea is what are all the things you can do to generate listings. Write it out. You don't have to think about it. It's there. It's in your face. Then you play a game with yourself. Here's what I'm going to do. Every day, I want to at least check a couple of boxes, right? So you got to go on the top, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And you say, oh, you know what? I'm going to do some prospecting with physical. I'm going to mail out some letters. I'm going to make some calls. I'm going to call. And the game is you want to get as many checks as you can in any given day, right? So it's a great thing. And every week you're done, you take it, and you do a new one. Here's something else. Power Agents. If you know Power Agents, we have negotiated for you a free month, no setup fee. We negotiate with RedX. You can't get anywhere else. And the reason why is because we are big fans of RedX because it removes the speed bump of prospect and FISBOs, expires, yada, yada. When you have your account power agents with RedX, and by the way, yes, you can go to RedX directly and pay and set up your own account. So everybody on this call, if you're looking to prospect, FSBO's expired. Let me go back. You see at the bottom? If you want to prospect, FSBO's expired for rent by owners. Beautiful place. Most agents don't call. Pre-foreclosures, RedX is put a pin in it. That's where you should have an account with them. Power agents, you save a ton of money. Now, when you log into your account, this is what it looks like. It's organized. It removes the speed bumper. You're trying to, let me go online. Where's the FSBO.com? And now I got to reverse it. And is it on the do not call list? I got to check that website now. They do everything for you. And then when you're dialing for dollars, it's automated, removes the speed bump. Here's something else. Here's another strategy about being organized, sending out some letters. I'm going to talk about CRM in a second. I just want to tell you, gang, in January, you should be sending the closing statement, the HUD form, and a cover letter to all the deals that you closed this year, telling your customers they need this for taxes to give it to their accountant. So get ready with that information. That's what you should be doing right now. Also, everybody, you should, as part of your strategy getting organized, is think about what is your marketing campaign going to be in 2022. What are all the different things you're going to do and what months you're going to do it? So be organized. Systemize your business is my point. And when we're talking about systems, listen, you all need to have a CRM. If you do not have a CRM right now, then you need to get it right away. During this holiday time, there's a time for you to work on your business, not work in it. Power agents, we have one for you called Power Builder. This is just for everybody. I want you to see, for those of you who don't have a CRM, I want you to see what you're missing. And by the way, those of you that do have a CRM, my teaching for you is get good at it. Because I know some of you have a CRM, you don't know what it does. Like you just put in some information. You're using it as like a digital Rolodex. It does a lot more. For example, I don't know if yours does this. I know ours does this. It has automated social media posting. Like it'll post on your social media accounts every day or twice a day. You don't do anything. It's a set and forget. It pulls articles. It gives the article, it puts it on, and you look like an expert in your marketplace. It has a built-in newsletter. A lot of CRMs do have that, where it just sends out to everybody in your CRM a digital newsletter, e-newsletter. You can do a printed version too in ours. There's also a website ties to it where it actually captures leads and puts it into the CRM. So the website actually pulls your leads and some of you have a company but here's my point. One of the strategies is get organized, and I'm giving you a whole bunch of organized ideas. The other thing is you should be working on your business plan for 2022. Now, for those of you that came into the call later, we said we're going to be doing a webinar in 3 weeks on how to fill out this business plan. I will say, though, the guests that are on the call now, if you want the 43-page business plan, you don't have to wait the 3 weeks. You can actually, if you decide you want to be a power agent and you sign up, that's one of the gifts that you get today, and you get to keep it as a bonus. Everything on there you get to keep. If you decide you want to do it a power agent for $5. All right. And plus you have the CRM too. So that's one of the things you're going to get as well, access to that. Now, so number one strategy is get organized. And I just gave you a bunch of ideas. There's more I could give you, but this is not a time management webinar. I want to just touch a little bit on these three strategies. Here's your second strategy is do some smile stops. This is the time of year to do smile stops. Everybody should be doing a smile stop. What's a smile stop, you ask? Here's what a smile stop is. We have an idea for a smile stop every month. But let me just zoom in on the acronym for SMILE. SMILE stands for service, meaning you're focusing on serving, not selling. M stands for meet them face to face. In other words, you're going to knock on their door to say, hey, how you doing? It's face to face meeting stuff. You're going to invite them to share and talk. So it's about them talking. So you're going to ask questions. How you doing? How are things? What are you doing for the holidays? L, you're going to leave behind a token of thank you, some kind of fun thing, and then you're going to elevate the relationship, meaning that E is very important. You need to follow up. You need to follow up after you do the face-to-face. Now, power agents in the Power Program website, we have smile stops for every single month of the year. It gives you like at least like 6 or 7 ideas for every month. You shouldn't do it every month, but during the holidays, you should be doing something now. So I'll give you, for instance, this is the smile stops for December. You can drop by and give an extension cord with a little note saying, "Love staying connected." You see the extension cord with great people and clients like you. Happy holidays. This is my favorite one. Is the second one. It says the wrapping paper. You drop off wrapping paper with a little note, your business card. "Thank you for helping me wrap up a great year, serving you and your friends and your referrals." The other one, the green whisking you a happy holidays. That's funny. The bread, you drop off some bread. "Merry Christmas to all and all, a sweet bite." Yeah. A pie any way you slice it. "I'm thankful for your referrals." And then may your days be merry and bright if you drop off. Anyway, these are cute little things. You pick one of the things and you go to all your past clients and some of your high-end friends and drop off a smile thing. Now, just for the power agents, I want to tell you, if you don't do something during the holidays, think about the beginning of the year. You can do a fortune cookie with a little note, or February, March with it's St. Patrick's Day. I'm lucky to have clients and referrals. Happy St. Patrick's, a little gold thing. Anyway, power agents, there's a ton of ideas on that. So planned smile stops is the point. That's the punchline. So number 1 is get organized. Number 2, plan your smile stops. I see questions coming in. I love it. Keep the when I'm done, we're going to the questions and we're going to ask them in order that they came in. So if you have a question in your mind right now, write it now so you get at the top of the queue. Get organized, plan your smile stops. And here's my third one for you is master your listing conversation. Again, gang, one of the best strategies to work on your business, not just in your business. Working with buyers, you show property. Where we need skill with buyers, still in this market, is how to put your deals together and negotiate. But listings is always going to be the most important thing that we need. And so this might be a good time for you to really brush up on your listing appointment during these next 60 days. Now, I gave you the 11 reasons why homeowners should list, but let me embellish on that as well. Power agents, I want to talk to you for a second. So guys, give me a second to talk to the power agents. Power agents, when you go into the classroom and you go to Webinars on Demand, when you get there, that's where we post every weekly webinar training session for you. Now, the difference for you power agents is that when you click on the webinar, you actually will also go to a page where you can watch the webinar, plus you can download the slides. Now, I recommend power agents, you print the slides out. So as you're watching the training, you take your notes and you have it all there for you. It's awesome. Now, one of the webinars that I did back in July was how to list 3 out of 4 FSBOs that you go on. Now, even if you go on a listing appointment that's not a FSBO or referral, whatever, the format is still the same. I just like to teach you how to list the hardest, because if you know how to list the hardest, forget about it. Everything else will walk in the park. So let me just pull from that webinar for everybody, guests included. Here is the listing appointment. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I just want you to get the concept. So we use the acronym REAL. And by the way, let me just say something about the REAL for everybody. So especially the guests, I want you to feel what I'm saying, and I want you to hopefully start to work this way. There's still some old training out there that's teaching people memorize scripts and how to close people and how to do a listing presentation. You'll notice we call listing conversation, because we want you to communicate. We want you to have a conversation. We want you to present. We don't want you to sell. We don't want you to close people. Why? Because people don't like to be sold. They don't like to be closed, right? They want to be served, not sold. They want you to coach them, not close them, right? So I want you to be real, because I want you to talk from your heart, not your head. You know what it's called? It's called human being, not human doing. You can't do a listing presentation. You'll come off inauthentic. And people list with people. So you have to show up and not do something that you're not. So here's the structure of how to do an authentic listing conversation, how to have that. Is the first part, you build that rapport, because people list with people. And I got to tell you something. That right there is 50% of the whole appointment. If they like you, you are 50% home. And a lot of us don't focus enough on that first part, and we need to. Now, once you built that connection and rapport, you're going to engage them in the conversation. How do you engage somebody in a conversation? You ask questions. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. You should communicate in that proportion. Listen, twice the amount of speaking that you do. So you want to ask questions, not just because you want to find out what they're trying to do, but you find out what they're committed to. And what we do as agents is we help people get to the next level in life, but you can't help them get to that next level if you're not clear what it is. So you're asking questions to find out their commitment to why they're selling. Once you're clear about why they're selling and what they're committed to, now you're going to give them some advice. This is when you're actually going to go through how you can help them get to their next level, how you use multiple listing as a marketing tool, how you use open houses, how you use your yard sign, the lockbox, and feature sheets, and network with other agents, social media. This is where you have that in-depth strategy conversation with your clients or potential clients, and then you list and leave and get the heck out of there before they change their minds. That's just a little joke from me. Now, as I said, Power Agents, that webinar will go through how to deliver how to do the rapport, how to ask the questions, what questions you should ask, yada, yada. I'm just going to focus right now real quick on the breaking the ice part, the rapport part. One of the things I'll encourage everybody that's watching this to help up your game when you're belly-to-belly, face-to-face with a seller is to build that connection, that rapport, bear some gifts, give them something to break the ice. Give them some kind of something. Just before we get started, I just want to give you this gift. I don't care what it is. Now, Power Agents, well, we created for you several gifts that you can do. One of my favorites that's close to my heart is the good move for kids. When you see a homeowner that has children, I hope you give this out. And here's why, because we have our own charity for children here at headquarters. It's called America's Hope for America's Children. Children are a very special cause, hobby for us. And partly because of my background, the challenges that I had growing up. Now, one of the things that I know from a scientific standpoint, because I've taken the courses, is that for children, a move can be traumatic, but they can't articulate it because they haven't mastered the English language, but it's still traumatic. And so what we did is we put together how to gamify the move for kids, to make it an easier move for them, emotionally, mentally, physically, and the whole 9 yards. So if you find that they have children, give this as a little gift to the homeowner. Every homeowner, you can tell them, listen, it's important to be safe, especially if you decide to be a FSBO. So giving them something like the home seller safety checklist of things that people don't realize that they should do if they're going to put themselves in this situation. We all know as real estate professionals, we have our safety issues and concerns. There's been stories. So let's help the homeowner say, if you're going to do this without a professional, here's something I give to all my clients and potential clients. The 10 quick ways. I love this one. The 10 quick ways to get ready for a quick showing. Sometimes it's a last minute. Hey, I want to see the house now. And they're down the block. They see the for sale sign or whatever. They say, can I come in now? So here's some really quick ideas. Mr. and Mrs. Hanahana, get your house ready in short minutes or last minute notice. I will tell you this. We have a lot of Power Agents that are using the Seller's Guide to Real Estate. This is something that we wrote. Our guides, this one is over, I think 30 pages. It's up there. I mean, it's so brilliant for you to share with a homeowner, showing the A to Z's from start to finish, what it takes to sell a house, go into contract, go to closing, and then move to your next level. And so you take credit for this. You'll see at the bottom, you put your contact information, your photo, your 9 yard, you print it out, you give that as a value added piece, as a little gift to a homeowner. You flip through that. It's just really wowza. By the way, for the guests, what I do want to tell the guests, if you decide to become a Power Agent at the end of this, you're going to get the slide deck, a PowerPoint slide, 100 slides that you can use on a listing point, plus a recording where I teach how to do Be Real, REAL. Anyway, that's another gift. Plus, you're going to get this. I will tell you this, 184 things that we do to earn our commission. And that's been coming up a lot about how we earn our commission, how hard we work. So we have this for you as well on how to validate the 184 things that you do to earn your commission. So it's a very powerful thing to use on a listing appointment as well. So let me recap. We're going to go to questions, but just to recap what we said today in this short time together is going through those 11 reasons why a homeowner really should maximize. This is actually the best time, not the worst time to sell your house. And what are some of those top marketing direct mail things that you can do during this holiday? You want to send it out. And then the last thing is those specific strategies that we talked about. That's getting organized, working on your listing appointment, getting good at that, and make sure you do some smile stops during this holiday season. Before I go to the questions, I want to talk to the guests for a second because we've got this really great gift that I want to give you. If you decide that you want to drive this car called the Power Program for a whole entire month, you can do that just for $5. But here's the thing. You're going to have complete access to everything. Nothing is restricted. So you'll have full access to my team, to my company, to the coaching, to the calls. I'll show you what that is in just a second. You can cancel anytime. After the 30 days, it's $47 a month, but it's month to month. So there's no long-term contract. And you get those bonuses today. I'm going to go through the bonuses one by one. But first, just so you know, the Power Program, every Monday we have coaching calls. They start at 11 o'clock. They go, we call them power hours, but they actually are now up to 2 hours because we have that many students and we make sure everybody's question gets answered. We record those calls so you can listen to them later. There's every session that we do every Wednesday is recorded. By the way, if there's any power agents on the call, do me a favor. Could you tell the other guests what you think about the program? Do you recommend it? Do you like it? Does it help you? Please, that will help make a difference. You're paying it forward, as Marty Sorrentino always likes to say, and you're giving the gift maybe of this to somebody else. So all these are recorded, so you'll have access to it. Along with, we have, I think, the best Facebook group in the industry. Why? Because we don't allow advertising. We don't allow bad mouthing or negativity. It's all brainstorming and positive stuff that we allow. And it's really quite amazing, the family that we have. Power agents, they seem to just care about, really, really care. It comes out in all of their posts. The website, let me tell you something. Forget it. I counted the items that we have on our website. We have over 600 marketing pieces for agents. And just to give you a screenshot of some of the site, if let's say you go into the site and you click on Classroom, because that's where the magic is. When you go to Classroom, we've broken up real estate into these categories. You'll see the first one says buyers. Then if I go to the next line, it says farming and self-promotion. Then there's the listing appointment negotiating. So here's the concept. If let's say you needed help on farming and self-promotion, you wanted some ideas and you click on that tab, you go to this page, and on this page is all of the stuff that you can download, customize, print out, the whole 9 yards. We have a favorite feature. So if let's say of the 600 pieces we have, you want to tag your top 12 that you love, that you want to do right away, you just click on that little star and it goes into a separate folder that's tied to your account. We use similar technology that Google uses. So let's say you type in at the top, FSBO, I need help with FSBO. Bing, everything that's FSBO related, whether it's a post, social media graph, video training, a FSBO dialogue, etc., will pop up, and that's for FSBO. And just to go through the bonuses that you get today for the guests, you're going to get emailed to you immediately. 103 slides in a PowerPoint format that you can customize and use on listing appointments, along with me teaching how to deliver a listing appointment using those slides. Now, by the way, you get to keep it if you decide to cancel during the trial. You're going to get a copy of the 3-part breakthrough business plan. It's 43 pages. And the reason why it's 3-part, as Julie said at the beginning, the first section talks about how to generate now business in the next 30 days, how to generate future business, planting the seeds for cash flow. And the third is how to build financial freedom. So that's the business plan. It's 3 in 1. There's nothing like it in our industry. You get to keep that as well. Along with, if you're a new agent or you're an experienced agent, but man, you need to restart and re-kick up your business, we have this new agent starter kit. It's 29 pages, and it tells you step 1, do this, step 2, do that, etc. Our 12 most requested dialogues, which includes the FSBO dialogue, expired voicemail messages to leave people, neighborhood calling, new listings that came into the market. It's really quite impressive. The 184 things that you do to earn your commission, these are all customizable. One of the things I love is this. Listen to me. This negotiating offers e-guide is not for you. It is for your buyer or for your seller. So when you are, let's say you have a seller and you get the listing, you want to say, all right, Mr. and Miss Honey, here's a guide that I have for you. And your name is on it. You take credit for it, on what to do with these multiple offers that when we do get them, hopefully you get them, right? This is how we're going to handle it. So I want you to read through this along with an Excel spreadsheet that helps you when you do get multiple offers. You sit down with your homeowner and then you punch in the numbers so the homeowner can see not just the price, but the terms, the conditions, and they can really compare. Plus, if you need you're going to get a copy of the slides, you're going to get a copy of the webinar. And if you need a CRM because you don't have one, oh my gosh, you need to have one. We have that for you as well. You have access to that for 30 days. Everything on the site on this slide right now is almost $2,000, but you get it for just the $5 and you get to keep it if you decide to cancel. Now, after the trial, it's $47 a month. Power agents, if you have any comments, please let the guests know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. We do keep a recording of the comments and we like to review them after the webinar. With that said, we're going to open up to questions. And Julie, you've been tracking these questions and people have been writing them. So if you have a question about the content or about the Power program and becoming a Power agent, this is your chance to ask those questions. Now, we're going to stay on it until all the questions are answered. Go ahead, Julie.
All right. Great job. And take a breath and a sip of coffee. I love it.
Yeah.
Do you think I should virtually stage with holiday decorations on a vacant home?
Yeah, here's what I think about virtual and cleaning up houses to make them look prettier. There needs to be a disclaimer because you don't want to be inauthentic or have the perception that you're manipulating or lying, etc. So there's two ways to do that. One, so to answer your question, I think it's a great idea, decorate a vacant house for the holidays, okay, virtually. But what you should do is one of two options. Either one, you'll double up your photos if your MLS will allow that to have that many, where you'll have the vacant room and then you'll have the dressed up room. So it'll be clear to somebody the before and after. The second option is if you don't have that many photos, spaces to use in your MLS, do the dressed up one, but put a little disclaimer on the image saying this photo has been virtually improved upon, right? So, and that's my suggestion. Next question.
Yes, speaking of that, where would I find the coupon for Box Brownie?
Okay. Oh, so the software gang that we use, Power Agents, you can get a discount. And I'll tell you, so Julie wants me to show you where that is. So Power Agents, if you go to Classroom, and the Classroom is where all the magic is, gang. So I'll probably say Classroom many a times. Anything that's tech related, you would go to Tech Tools and Training. Now, in the Tech Tools and Training, I'm going to start by saying this. There's video training on how to do certain things like how this is how to use RedX, and this is how to use direct mail greeting cards. This is how to use RPR, which is one of our vendors that we push and love. How to use your CRM. I love this tech training for you guys. How to use Canva, how to use Zoom, how to use PowerPoint. So there's tech stuff for you. But also there's coupons with these tech companies that we worked with. And one of them is called that virtual example where you can turn photos into virtual up. That's called Box Brownie. And we have a coupon for Power Agents where you get free stuff out the gate. You don't have to spend any money. So you can get several
$40 worth of
yes, so
whatever you need to do. So it's awesome. So you'll find that and all kinds of coupons in there. And they gave us a lot of tips and tools as well. So other e-guides in that.
There's an e-guide here. And when you click on that, you'll the Box Brownie gave us for you guys this thing that's taking a while to open. So I will let it open and I'll show you in just a minute. All right, next question, Julie.
Then where are you living if you still live there? You are contingent. I think that was back when you were talking about eliminate the contingencies.
Yeah. So if the question is like you're removing the contingency, like so if a homeowner sells and then they're buying, no, they're not going to be living in the street, right? So if they're in contract, you can do a non-contingent offer because it's already in contract, or even you could do non-contingent if it's even up for sale because in this hot market they're going to sell. So yeah, they're not homeless. So they're going to still time the sale and the purchase of the new home. Next
Love
question.
it. Where would I find the flyer for the 11 reasons to sell?
Yeah, I'll show you 2 ways to find the 11 reasons. Boy, so right now I can tell there's a tremendous amount of power agents hitting the website because it's getting a little slow on me. So let me tell you how to find the 11 reasons. It's going to be in the farming tab, but I want to teach power agents something that you have to get used to using. If you type in the word reason, because that's what I said, the 11 reasons, and if I just type in the word reason, it's anything that has reasons in it or the word reason is going to pop up. And there's the 11 reasons to list during the holidays. So there is also the buyer one as well. But to tell you specifically where that is, if you go to the farming section of the site, this is where all of the stuff is. And the 11 reasons is going to be in here as well. But just to show you, power agents, there are so many flyers. The Sellopoly that I showed you, the Serious Seller quick selling list, it's 2 pages. There is so much great content. And the great thing is the letters, power agents, unlike other things, like here's the 11 tips that I showed you. Unlike other companies that have something, first of all, there's no online marketing company that has the amount of stuff that we have for you guys. I can tell you that for sure. But the other thing that we have that nobody else has is the ability for you, and I'm going to show you, just give it a second. It's opening up the file. This is really important, and I want you to see this, is how you can customize this. So this is the flyer that I showed about the top 5 reasons, or top 5 ways to do an open house during the holidays. So of course you can put your contact information in there. You'll see, you'll see me moving and putting my information there. So if I just put in there Darryl Davis, you should all be seeing me doing that. But here's the other thing I want to say. If let's say you're in the area where you don't have to worry about the pathway having ice and stuff, watch what happens to the words, don't forget about the pathway. Bing, I just deleted it. You can edit every single sentence, every single word. So if there's something that you want to customize, you can do it. Not to mention the fact, watch this. If I select all and copy, and if I decide to post this in social media, I can just post this whole flyer as a social media post as well, or I can copy and put it in my newsletters, or I can, well, anyway, there's so much.
Put it on your blog, exactly. And you should multi-layer your marketing.
This one flyer, and there's 600, you can have multiple purposes with just this one flyer. And so it's the best stuff out there. All right, next question, Julie.
Any tips to counter potential concerns from the seller about closing before the end of the year for tax implications? Good for the buyer, maybe not so much for a seller?
I don't think I understand that question.
Are there tax implications for a seller if they sell before the end of the year? Is that bad for them as opposed to
no? If they show a profit on the house and they don't buy a new home, yes, there will be some, depending on what they paid, how much improvements they made on the property. That's going to be their capital gains, and depending on what they do after that, like if they go into a rental, then yes, they're going to pay some taxes on that. But if they purchase another house, then they'll be fine because they're moving it into the next property. Next question.
You mentioned about tax. I think that was the HUD statement. Can you go over that again? We have several questions about that.
About the,
like, where would they find the tax closing statement, the HUD statement for?
Oh,
to send
the HUD form. The HUD form. Okay, the HUD form you should have gotten at the closing yourself. So when you had a deal and you closed the deal, you should have gotten a copy of the HUD form. If you didn't, because a lot of agents don't ask for that, you need to start asking for that at closings. And then what you'll do is you'll take that HUD form and then you'll take that cover letter. Where's the cover letter? And you'll put it in an envelope and you'll get ready to mail it the beginning of every year. So you've got to start planning and doing that. So if you didn't do it this year, you'll have to just start doing it next year. Okay?
We actually had a power agent say that earlier, that they had never thought about that. And this year they did that. They filed the HUD forms all in a package so they could just send it all out. So I love that.
Yep. There's the HUD letter. But the HUD letter, by the way, again, power agents, if you go into the website, it's going to be in farming. but I'll bet you if I type in the word HUD, I hope I'm right, it should show up, the HUD letter. And there it is, New Year HUD statement letter. Now, by the way, one other thing I want to tell everybody, even the guests too, this little chat thing at the bottom, I got to tell you all how we work at our company behind the scenes. If you have a question, power agents, or even a guest, when you use our chat, here's how it works. Every team member in my company, when you write something, their computers go bling like a door, ding dong, and meaning that, oh, somebody's on the site and they need help. And then what happens, my whole team reads your thing, and whoever is the best person to answer your question will take over the conversation. So my point is, our chat is really awesome. Next question, Julie.
Is the CRM included in the $47?
The CRM is not included in the 47. That's the only thing that is separate. And here's why. Sorry. Is because, whoops, I don't know how I just got there. So, okay. The reason why it's not in the CRM is not part of the membership is because some power agents already have a CRM with another company. Their company has a CRM. So we have that as a separate add-on. If you need a CRM, we have it for you. Now, the advantage of our CRM is a lot of the letters and flyers are put into the CRM, so you don't have to re-enter them. So that's a good thing. Next question, Julie.
Can you go over how we can use your direct marketing? I've not done large mailings. Do we just download and print, or how do we send them?
Yeah, so what you'll need is a mailing house to send out the mailing. So we don't do that part for you. What happens is when you open up something like this flyer, the 5 tips, what you would do is you would customize it. You put your name and you can put your photo. And I'm not going to show you how to use PowerPoint, although we have a video on how to use PowerPoint and Canva. But you would customize this flyer and then you would simply print it out, or you would save it as a JPEG or PDF and upload it to a mailing house company, and they'll print it, stuff the envelope, mail it for you. Or you can print it locally and then stuff and mail it out yourself.
I love it. Where would we find the 43-page business plan?
Okay. The business plan is going to be, first of all, if you're a guest, you're going to get it emailed to you, the business plan. For power agents.
Well, if you're a guest that signs up today.
Yeah, if you sign up today, you're right. If you sign up today as a guest, you're going to get the business plan emailed to you. Power agents, you would go to time and money management. Anything that has systems, charts for you to stay focused on your business is going to be there. And when I get to when we're in here, the business plan, Julie, what's the beginning title of it?
I think it's an e-guide, because it's an e-guide.
It's an e-guide, right?
So your business plan right there.
So it says right there. Now, by the way, my website is obviously, or my computer memory is maxed out because I'm on the call, but it's right there. It's e-guide, breakthrough business plan. There's also an easy business plan, which is a one-pager. If you prefer a one-page version, that's just about the numbers. I want to make 100 grand. What do I need to do to make 100? And it breaks down the numbers. So we have that for you as well. Next question, Julie.
As a past graduate of Power Program, how do I get back in touch and get access to all this digital material?
Yeah, what you need to do is just sign up, but you won't get the trial, though, because the trial is for people that have never participated before. So what you would do is just use that little chat function there and say, hey, I'm a past student and I like to rejoin, and send that message and we'll get you up and running. Next question.
Where do we find the multiple offer flyer? That's actually an e-guide as well. So you're going to look at e-guide, but you could just put in the search, you could put multi and it'll pop up.
Well, or you can put guide. So if you search guide, you're going to see how many great guides that we have for you guys. And I'm so sorry that I'm not having the images show up right now, but that's because my memory is really maxed out. So let me just close this for a second. And no, I don't want to save that. So there's a seller's guide, the buyer's guide, and there's so much great stuff. Let me close this. And but if you type in guide, that's where you'll find that as well. Next question, Julie.
Perfect. We've got lots of questions about the HUD form. So is the HUD form just a settlement statement or ALTA?
Okay. So everybody, The HUD closing statement is the federal, every state has this form, the HUD closing form. The HUD closing form is what an accountant needs to do the buyers and the sellers taxes. So what you do is you ask the title company at the closing, Mr. and Mrs. Title Person, a brokerage, we need a copy of the HUD form. Can you please run off an extra copy when you're making those copies? And they'll give you the HUD form. You'll bring it back to the office. You'll put it in an envelope with the cover letter. You'll seal it, you'll stamp it, and you'll put it in a box to wait till January of next year. And you send it out, and the letter tells the buyer what to do with the HUD form, give it to their accountant. Next question.
How much is the CRM again? After I'm a new power agent, so where can I find the details? In the
I'm sorry, ask that question again, Julie. I just got.
Where can I find the details on the CRM as a new power agent?
Yeah, so if you go to the dashboard, I'm just wondering why. Here's what happens when you go live with technology. Like, it is operating really super slow, my computer. So what am I looking for again? The CRM. If you go to the dashboard, when you're logged in as a power agent, you'll see at the upper right-hand corner, I'm logged in as Sarah right now. When you're logged in and you go to dashboard, they'll see these 8 boxes that will go, and one of them is the CRM. If you click there, that'll bring you to the page that you need to activate your free 30 days as a CRM. Also on this page, just to go through this while we're here really quick, the classroom is where all the magic is, the coaching calls. Every week, the coaching calls are recorded, and you can go there and listen to them. There is a directory that power agents are referring deals back and forth, about 5 a month now. It's awesome. We didn't expect the directory to generate the amount of money that it is for the agents. There's a link directly to our Facebook closed group. There's how you edit your profile. There's some tutorials, and there's the webinar registration. When you go there, power agents, it'll show you what's the upcoming training sessions that are coming and how you can register for that just for power agents.
Awesome. Again, Marcia, I'm a power agent. I would like to reconnect with the program. So you're just going to go to use that chat on the site, and that will, Gail will help assist you with that. Like Darryl said, anytime you have a question, we're right there to help. What is going on with your computer?
I'm doing something right now to try and clean up some of the issues to see if I can free up some of my memory. So go on.
Excellent. Are there tools for agents for property management? We don't. It's really pretty much residential real estate that we have on the site.
Yeah,
but it's customizable.
Yeah, we do not have anything. Just residential. That's all we do.
What time are the coaching calls?
The coaching calls start at 11 o'clock Eastern time. And like I said, they're supposed to go to 12 Eastern time, so 1 hour, but we're actually finding that they're going 2 hours long. So our goal, and just like with this call, we stay on the call until everybody's questions are answered. And that's it. So that's how we run those calls, however long they take.
It looks like we were all testing the site too, and it looks fine on our end. So it might be just because you've got the software running the webinar as well.
Yeah.
Can we input our company's logo to your marketing items? Absolutely. Everything is customizable, and you can brand it to yourself. In fact, the e-guides, you can make that looks like you wrote it, right? And a lot of our power agents print those and use that on their listing appointments even.
Absolutely. So when I think it's running faster now. When you open up any of the files, you can brand them. You put your company, you put your photo, you put anything that you want on there. This is Power Agents. When you go to the webinar registration, this is where you can see the coaching call. This is every Tuesday. There's an onboarding for Power Agents to get familiar with the site and all the benefits of being a Power Agent. This is today's webinar. Next week, we're doing how to reinvent yourself and guarantee a successful next year. How to stay safe with a special guest. Then the market is shifting, 6 ways to generate a surge of listings. So those are the upcoming trainings in Power Agents. You just click there to register. And that is on the webinar registration. The whole site is alphabetical. So if you just think of what the first word what might be, right? So objection handling is there, listing appointment is there, negotiating offers. If you're a new agent, greeting cards was there. Prospecting, that's huge. Now the prospecting, I do want to say something, being that we touched upon it for people, and that is in this page here, and see now my site's starting. I think my computer has freed up some of its memory. This is where all of the dialogue for calling FSBOs, calling expireds, there's 12 dialogues there for rent by owners, pre-foreclosures. So that's in the prospecting tab for you guys as well. Okay, next question, Julie.
Awesome. If I'm a power agent, how do I get the Red X offer that you talked about in the beginning?
When you go to the classroom and you go to Red X, that'll bring you over to the dedicated Power Agent website for you to sign up. You'll click there. There's a video for me welcoming you. We put a lot of energy in or Red X actually created this dedicated page for Power Agents because unlike the some of my colleagues, my focus is really how to list for sale by owners and expireds. I mean, we teach everything, but that's how I built my business. And so I'm really good at it. And so that's why we negotiated a great deal for Power Agents as well.
Awesome. Is there a contract or can I cancel anytime?
You can cancel anytime. There's no long-term contract at all. So if you sign up today, you get to keep every one of these bonus. Let's say you sign up, you pay the $5, and then you decide to cancel like the next day, you get to keep everything on the screen. We hope you don't do that. We want you to build a relationship with us and get to know us and use the other value of the program. But yes, these are all gifts for you, and there's no long-term contracts.
I love it. All right.
Any other questions, Jules?
I think we are coming to the end.
All right.
When you mail a letter, would you use labels for addresses or handwrite them?
It depends. If you the handwritten version is better, it'll get a higher return rate than labels. Labels already says that your labels says in mailings what mass email says to people. You're just there. It's not about building a relationship. You're just mailing out to a ton of people. So not that it won't be effective. It's better than mailing nothing at all. But the handwritten is better. Now, I will tell you, when you go to the greeting cards section of our site, there's a way to do handwritten greeting cards as opposed to labels, and that's extremely effective. Yeah.
Now that I see the Power Agent onboarding, I had a question. How do I get started? It feels like there's a lot of content here. How do you keep from being overwhelmed?
So when you go into the classroom, there is this tab called onboarding. And if you click on onboarding, if you're even experienced the Power Agents, we suggest you do this. Julie and Sarah created this, created this for you. And it's like a training session on how to maximize the value of the Power program and to help build your business as well. So these are the 8 modules. The foundation, making a plan, all about listings, other lead gen things, ideas, leveraging your sphere of influence, cultivating your farm, putting systems into place, and creating buyer loyalty. Now, what happens is when you click on one of these things, it shows you, here's a bunch of suggestions, and you'll see that these things are checked off because they've been accomplished. And as you check things off. Now I'm unchecking them, by the way. So as you complete these items, you actually will start to get points. Your points will go up and they'll go down. In addition, if you click on it, says head over to the Power Agent directory to fill out your profile. Well, if I just click on that, it'll actually bring me to the Power Agent directory. And here, you click on update my profile. And of course, I'm in my assistant or vice president, I should say, page membership and as a template that she has. And this is where you can start to put your social media, your bio, your YouTube link, and etc. So that's something that we put together for you as well. And we highly encourage you to do that.
If I'm a broker and I want to sign up multiple agents, how do I do that?
Just use this chat here. We don't promote it. It's like behind the scenes thing. We have what's called a broker. What's it called? A broker?
A broker block.
Broker block. It's called broker
We
block.
love alliteration.
And yeah, so if you just send us a message saying I'm a broker, I'd like to talk about a broker block or get my office involved, Gail will reach out to you. I see Patrice is asking the question about Red X versus Espresso Agent. Red X is better. That's all I can tell you. The Red X has been around. They were the first when it comes to lead gens with FSBOs and expireds. So I think they're better.
And in our webinars on demand, we actually just had Tyler Fenn from RedX with us last week, and he went through not only how to use the system, but some really smart prospecting tips and ideas. It blew me away. I mean, it just blew me away. So you'll find that in the webinar on demand. I know, Darryl, earlier you talked about writing property descriptions. We actually brought in an expert copywriter, real estate copywriter, who talked about writing incredible descriptions and your bios. So there's that kind of information in there as well. And since you're on that page, we had a question, how do I get the slides? So today's webinar will be up in here tomorrow. So I don't know if you want to click on last week so you can see what it looks like to when they get the slides.
Yeah, so this was the webinar that so this was Red X they did last Thursday. And the day before that, this is what I did, the iBuyer one. And sometimes when we have guest speakers, they don't have slides, but I always do. So, because it's a training session for you, right? So this is where you'd watch the webinar, and there's how you download the slides. Now, I will tell power agents, this iBuyer Beware, how to explain homeowners why they should list with you. We included in that about Zillow not doing Zillow offers anymore, and how I use that news to validate why a homeowner should run away from iBuyers. So that is the most recent information. I'm going to tell you one other thing as well. This webinar, how to create buyer loyalty, was awesome. And how to become a fearless listing machine, also awesome. So power agents, if you hadn't seen those, I highly recommend you favorite those.
And the open house one, that was like a fan favorite for sure.
Yeah, I know Julie loves that
one. I loved that one. That was so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, they're all it's like all your children. I love all of them. So.
Well, what happens, gang, is sometimes Julie doesn't know what I'm going to teach. So then when she hears me spewing out stuff that she's never heard me say before, she gets like super excited. It's like, wow, this is great stuff. And then there's a whole blog about it now. And anyway, Inman News is writing about it.
Exactly. Well, got to jump in, create new stuff. I love it.
All right.
I do have a question. Where do I find a listing appointment? Do you have a listing conversation? Presentation, rather. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So if you go to, first of all, there's a video on it, but if you go to the listing appointment, that tab will have a whole bunch of things that you can use on a listing appointment: flyers, articles, examples. Like there's the 11 reasons to list during the holidays again, because that's something you do on a listing appointment. There's a guide on how to deliver the REAL, rapport, engage, advice, and list and leave. But there's also a video training as well. Like went back to webinars on demand is where you'd find that as well. There's a presentation slide deck. So here's an iBuyer presentation deck that you can use on a listing appointment. There is the listing conversation slides. Now we put the word presentation in there only because a lot of agents still think of it as listing presentation, so they may go to the word presentation. But we encourage power agents to not use presentation, but use conversation. How to do safe showings during the pandemic. So there's a lot of content here. Slides. So anyway, that's in the listing appointment. Sample COVID contract addendums, because so many things have happened because of COVID, people not moving out on closing date, and you can't evict them and So we created these addendums specific to COVID to help you in keeping your deals from blowing apart. Anyway, it's just a lot of stuff here.
Sellopoly, it's one of my favorites. We have a loanopoly for buyers and sellopoly for sellers, so I love those.
Yeah, this sellopoly Julie loves because it's really cool. It explains to a homeowner the process of selling a house, and
in a family-friendly way, right? So
yeah. And here's an example. Like, see, I don't like that that's so close to the line. So if I wanted to, I can just move that up and clean it up. If I want to change this personalized marketing material if I wanted to write that. So everything can be customized. You put your contact, your photo here. This could be on your listing appointment. You can use this as a flyer. This is just, listen, gang, this is just one item. There's so much content here for you to have access to.
Awesome sauce.
Now we're going to end this webinar. I don't see any more questions, so we're going to end this. So if you want to become a power agent, first of all, power agents, was this valuable? Please, before you go, just put a little last quote. Tell us what you thought, or even guess if you enjoyed this. If you got any value, please let us know. In addition to that, thank you for spending your time with us. You know, I hope this was valuable. We really appreciate and respect you. You know, what you do is make a difference in people's lives, and anything that we can do to help you be better skilled and better trained to articulate. You know, one of our power agents, Joanne Mills, said something really powerful. And she said, you know, the agents that she works with, she believes who they are is committed to making a difference in the world. And they've just chosen real estate as the vehicle to accomplish that. I think that is so powerful and profound, because that's how we feel about power agents, for sure. So anyway, we thank you for being here and spending time with us. Please click on this. If you're a guest, when I end this webinar, that little floating bar, Sarah, maybe refresh it one more time, that's going to go away right now. So as soon as we say goodbye. So please click on that before I say goodbye to you, which I'm doing right now. And so that way you can become power agent for $5. It's a cup of coffee at Starbucks, even cheaper. And I think it's totally worth it. You know what? You probably spend money on coffee or something else that's $5. You're worth more than any Starbucks. So invest in you. I want to thank you once again. Thanks, Jules. Thanks, everybody. Please stay safe, stay focused, and of course, don't forget to keep smiling. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.